Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is Mr. No Sleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new video for you all today. So today I bring you guys loot from 3000 Cyclops, and honestly what gave me the idea for this video was my last upload. Actually was in the wilderness, and thanks to being in the wilderness in that video, I did unfortunately lose one of my only dragon defenders that I had left, so I figured, I have to go get it back anyway. Why not just make a video on Cyclops while we're here? So that's exactly what I did, and with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Now, first things first, there are many different Cyclops around RuneScape that you can kill, but for the sake of this video, since I was just trying to see how many dragon defenders I could possibly get in 3000 kills, as well as see what the loot overall would be, I only stuck with the Cyclops that were underneath the Warriors Guild. And to access this area, the only thing that you need is a rune defender, and if you don't happen to have a rune defender yet, the only other alternate thing that you can bring to access this area would be an attack skill cape. If you are lucky enough to have 99 attack and you bring this skill cape with you, or you just have a max cape which pretty much acts as all the skill capes, then you won't have to worry about Warrior Guild tokens, because the perk of the attack skill cape is unlimited Warrior Guild tokens, so it will save you a lot of time, and also it won't really matter if you lose all of your rune defenders in order to get the dragon one back. Now, these Cyclops underneath the Warriors Guild are a little bit higher in combat compared to the normal Cyclops. If you're curious where other Cyclops are in Old School, basically there are some in the RD Zoo, there's also some in the Catacombs of Karen, as well as God Wars Dungeon and Wilderness God Wars Dungeon. So essentially those are where all of the Cyclops are located. They can also be considered a Slayer task if you do ever happen to be assigned Hill Giants. Maybe you are a lower level, then Cyclops can be substituted for Hill Giants, and you can get the same amount of Slayer XP per kill, which is 75. Unfortunately, Cyclops are not known for their drop table. Their rarest drop is actually what you're seeing here, is considered an untradeable, and that is a curved bone, 1 in 5,000. Very crazy to see that. Wasn't really expecting to see one during the course of 3000 kills. The only other drops that I would say are worth noting would be the level 3 clue scrolls that they do offer, which I'd say is 1 in 250, and they also do drop the long bone alongside the curved bone, which is 1 in 400. Luckily for me though, the dragon defender drop rate here is only 1 in 100, so you figure 3000 kills, my guess was I would get 30, hopefully not any less, so that was the goal, and that was the estimate coming into this video, just basing it off of the drop rate. Something else that I was curious about throughout the making of this video was the amount of kills per hour that you could average using certain styles of melee versus others. So at first I was using a rapier with overheads. I wasn't using piety or anything, I was just using protect from melee. It turns out that if you're maxed, you really don't ever need a pray here. I mean, SGS can always give you your HP back and even more prayer points over time, so that was kind of a flop, but I was averaging 160 kills per hour with that method. After that, I did decide to switch to bandos, and pretty much I was averaging 20 more kills per hour comparatively, but with that bandos setup, I was using more prayer potions, and I was also using piety, so I was expecting a lot more kills than 180, but at the end of the day, that was not the only method that I wanted to try out. My next one was full DH, which I would say, as it goes for getting a dragon defender, this would be the most popular method because they are weak to crush attacks, and DH is a hell of a crush weapon, especially if you're sitting at 1 HP, which by using a locator orb, for the most part, I was always at 1 HP when I was using this method, and this did result in over 190 kills per hour. I will say though, it's not as AFK as the prayer method was, using the rapier and just kind of never looking at the screen, and that is because if you do decide to use full DH here, then you have to click the prayer rapid heal at least once every 30 seconds, and if you do that, then your HP shouldn't ever go above 1. It sounds more complicated than it is. I actually just looked up a quick guide for this method, and yeah, it was that simple. I do know that a lot of people who kill Cyclops probably will use a whip though, not everybody can afford full DH, so I did use a whip towards the end of the video to test out the kills per hour with that method as well, so keep that in mind. So at this point, we were getting close to the 700 kill mark, and this was the second curve bone of the video. 2 1 in 5,000 drops. I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, like I said before, Cyclops really don't have a rare drop table, so I guess this is really as good as it gets, and yeah, it's free construction XP, which you guys will see at the end of the video with all these bones that we did get. As goes for all the other drops on the Cyclops' drop table, there are certainly so many different items that are good for high alching. Since this is a drop video, I did want to keep certain items that were on the drop table that I thought were worth, showing you guys. So anytime that I did receive an addy or a rune drop, I decided not to high alch it and instead just bank it and make the tab look nice for the 3000 kills. But my number one suggestion is to not do this. If you decide to camp here and go for a lot of dragon defenders, there's really no point in collecting those drops. Definitely just go with the high alching. It'll save you a lot of time on the banking. I was also using a ring of wealth throughout this video, the whole time from start to finish, just to see how many coins that I could accumulate, but I would would recommend using a Berserker Ring imbued. You'll definitely get a lot more kills per hour, as well as more XP per hour. Had I also been using that Berserker Ring imbued, I would have been able to see a few 100 hits, but since I was using that Ring of Wealth and I was lacking that strength bonus, and I was also not using a fire cape or anything, I was not able to see any 100s with DH this whole video. I think my max hit throughout this video was a 96, which is pretty lame, not seeing that 3 digits, but that's okay. So looking at the inventory, you know, every time I would bank, I would usually bring back anywhere from 8 to 10 prayer potions, as well as 2 super combat potions. I would never end up using the prayer pots because usually I would have to bank because I'd have too many rune or addy items in my inventory. Like I mentioned before, the only 2 common rune drops that I did see from Cyclops was the rune full helm as well as the rune med helm, but I did see these 2 uncommon rune drops, one being a rune 2H and another one being a rune square shield. I'm pretty sure these are on a separate drop table, but it was unique nevertheless. There we have our second long bone of the video, you know, 1 in 400, not as rare as the curve bone, but you know, at this point we had already seen 2, so I wasn't really expecting to see another one. However, expect the unexpected. There you go. That is the third 1 in 5,000 drop in this video, and this was, I think, 1,500 kills in. Quite a moment for that guy RNG to log in, right? Alongside those bone drops that we were receiving, of course, we were also doing all the level 3 clue scrolls that we did get with this video. That was pretty much the highlight for me. You know, Cyclops really aren't the most entertaining thing in the world, and although these Cyclops may not be the most entertaining monster out there, I will say that I do see people kill them pretty often. You know, if you think about all the time that Deadman Mode Seasonal comes around and all the time that people have to spend to get that defender back every single season, and then you have to think about all the people that make these new accounts because of mobile, and then everyone who decides that one day they want to start a new Iron Man, maybe a hardcore, eventually you will have to get a Dragon Defender. It's kind of a necessary evil. Now, since the Dragon Defender does require 60 defense to equip, there are a few exceptions, of course. You know, not every account will be able to get it. You know, there are pures and of course level 3 skillers. Gotta keep them in mind. And as it goes for the return visitors, you know, the people that you always see come back to the room of the Cyclops, those people are most likely PKers, because anytime that you bring a Dragon Defender, I believe it's over 30 wilderness, I could be wrong, it could be 20, but anytime you happen to die in the wilderness past a certain level, you do lose that defender indefinitely, so you have to go and get it back if you don't happen to have a replacement. Now, the cool thing about this video is, since I have so many Dragon Defenders, which we are getting close towards the end, and you will see the overall amount that I did receive in 3,000, I assure you all the Dragon Defenders that I did receive in this video will be used for a future upload that I am planning, most likely, I would say 2 months from now. You know, I want all these new updates to come out, and then I want to pretty much do loot videos on all the monsters that are released into the game. After that's done, I want to finish off a few other videos, and then I would like to get to one of my most exciting videos yet, which will be loot from 1,000 players all across RuneScape, whether it be in the wilderness, whether it be in PvP. That's going to be a very unique loot video, and Dragon Defenders are going to be much needed. And not to get too off topic here, but I just want to say the fact that last video was all in the wilderness and it did get over 200,000 views, which has beaten all the other videos in this series so far, it kind of tells me that you guys seem to enjoy the player versus player content a little bit more than you enjoy the monster content. So I will be keeping that in the back of my mind, as I know that these loot videos can be a little bit repetitive, especially when you make them as long as I do nowadays. So I figure, you know, most of the videos in the future, I'm going to try to add a little bit of a twist to them, not only because it is a new year, but because we have a lot of new subscribers, and I want to make these videos not only informative, but also entertaining. And with certain monsters, that is very challenging, but I think if it's anything in the wilderness, then it's much easier. So with all that being said, it should be a really good year, and I'm very optimistic towards it, so I hope you guys are as well. And yeah, pretty much wrapping up the video here. You know, I did manage to see a few odd drops towards the end, you know, 2 cut dragon stones, and I think the last 200 kills, and I was also getting back-to-back Dragon Defenders, got that I think twice throughout the video, so it was nice to see the luck carrying on in this video as well. I still really don't know how to feel about those curved bone drops, but I guess that's RNG for you. Now, I did say earlier on in the video that I would test the amount of kills per hour that you can get using a whip here, and with full bandos as well as Piety on using a whip, I was getting about 170 kills per hour. That's only 10 less than I was getting with a rapier and Piety, so something to keep in mind. You definitely don't need to spend 300 mil on a rapier for these. Whip will do just fine. Very small difference in kills per hour between the two. And here we are 4 days later at kill number 3,000. Of course, from start to finish, we were tracking all the kills through a bone crusher, getting about 15 prayer XP per kill, so just about 45k free prayer XP from the making of this video, so that's always nice. I do apologize that this video took so long to get out. I pretty much spent like 2 days in bed earlier this week, just wasn't feeling too good, so it kind of set me back a little bit, but overall, nevertheless, here we are, 3,000 3,000 kills. Looking at the Dragon Defender count, you know, my prediction was 30, and it looks like we got over 38. So 8 over the drop rate. That's really nice to see. Each and every single one of them, as I mentioned before, will come in handy. And of course, we got 3 curve bones and 3 long bones, which is just absolutely insane. But anyways, the first price check, everything coming out to be 4.4 mil. That's over 100 rune med helms, a good amount of darts, you know. We also got 1.1 mil just in coin drops, so yeah, really nice to see that. Wasn't really expecting to see that much money from this. I would say most of those seeds were not worth picking up, but since it is a drop video, I, you know, figured I'd pick up everything. But yeah, only the Renar seeds I'd say were the most valuable out of all those. And as it goes for everything else, the herbs, the gems, and everything else in between, another 300k, meaning that loot from 3,000 Cyclops comes out to be 4.7 mil, as well as receiving over 38 Dragon Defenders and 1.6 million Strength XP. However, we still need to subtract the amount of money that we spent on supplies, so everything in the very beginning of the video was 18.3 mil, and now everything is just about 13 mil, meaning we spent just about 5.3 mil in prayer potions as well as super combat potions throughout the making of this video, so the overall profit from 3,000 Cyclops was negative 600k. Also managed to get some construction XP from those bones that we did receive earlier on in the video, and overall, you know, the main goal of this video was to get as many Dragon Defenders as we could, and I think that we pulled that off. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will be seeing you most likely in 2 to 3 days with loot from 1,000 King Black Dragons. So I'll see you guys then, and thank you very much for watching.